Let's talk about The Boys, Season 4. So we've been on a bit of a break, so we have a lot of episodes of this to talk about. So we have 6 episodes. We're going to give our overall score of the season so far, and then say which episode has been our favorite to kind of speed up, and we're not just rattling off a bunch of numbers at the start of this video. So I'll go ahead and start, and then Alex, you can give your overall score.
Okay.
So for me, I've been really enjoying this season, and I feel like there's been some really high highs in this season. I think so far, I'd give this season overall probably, I'm like between a 7 and an 8. I think I'd give it an 8 for some of the like really good scenes that I've enjoyed.
Okay.
And I think my favorite episode, hands down, is episode 4. It gives some really cool backstory. It has some amazing performances. It goes into like why Homelander is the way he is, and Homelander is just so good in that episode. I loved it. So episode 4 is definitely my favorite of the season so far.
Okay. Man, we are too similar with our likes of shows and movies. I'm trying to make a controversial statement, but I can't because I agree with you. I would give it an 8. I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how much I'm enjoying the season. Just because, like, I love The Boys, but I'm not like, I feel like I'm almost getting desensitized now with how crazy it is.
I agree. Yeah, I was a little worried about that.
Yeah, but like I am pleasantly surprised how much I'm enjoying it. Even some characters I was worried about, like Brainiac or what's her name?
Sage.
I was worried about her because I'm like, oh god, this better not be the reason why Homelander's downfall is. She's smarter than everybody. She's perfect. But they've done stuff with their characters that have actually made me really enjoy it and kind of subverted my expectations, and it made her more of a character and not just a smarty pants. So even little nitpicks I had at the beginning, they've turned to me in the last few episodes, and I 100% agree with you. Episode 4 is the reason why people like The Boys. Homelander is excellent. This show would not be the show it is without Homelander, and it showcases it this episode. So intense, so amazing. Yep. I loved episode 4. And honestly, episode 5 is a close second for me. I really liked episode 5.
I was just going to ask what your second favorite was, hoping we'd have a different one, but episode 5 is my second favorite episode.
Of course.
That one, like, you get some reunions, you get some more great acting,
some emotion,
some, like, reveals, some emotions, some connection to, like, Gen V. It was also a really good episode.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to talk about spoilers.
Yep, let's get into spoilers. So, spoiler alert for all of The Boys Season 4 so far. We're going to talk about up through episode 6.
1 through 6. See, I agree with you. Episode 4, just the intensity of it. Like, that is when Homelander's at his best. It was so good. There's almost no music, and Homelander just, like, he's gonna do something, but you're just, like, kind of waiting, and it's so good.
Yeah, the tension building in that. And I love when he's, like, smiling and just, like, pretending to be like, oh, we're just friends. Here's a Fudgy the Whale. And then he just, like, his face drops and he's like, get in the room. Or get in the furnace, whatever it is. It's like, oh, okay, it's about to kick off. There it is. We've been waiting for this entire time.
And there was one scene later on when he's telling the dude to take down his pants and stuff, where he actually started laughing like a maniac, and I'm like, oh, he's doing so...
And, like, telling other people to, like, make fun of him. Oh, man, that was...
that was... Yeah.
The actor for Homelander, I feel like he's really, like, gotten into that role, and he nails it.
I would be scared just to be on set with him. That's how good he acts.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some things where he's, like, saying, oh, everybody always says I'm nothing like my character, and he's like, I hope not. My character's like a psychopath. But he just plays him that well.
Seriously, I don't think I've ever in any show ever, like, seen a character where I would be terrified to be in a room with him this much.
Yeah, it's interesting to have someone that psychopathic and that much stronger than everybody else.
Yes, it's insane. You're right, the power level, like, he could easily just take over everything. And he's a psycho too, so, like, that's probably where it's going, but...
And I like a lot of what they're doing, showing why... So I feel like this episode showed why he has some of the issues he has, like the mommy fixation for him. Like, he had that kind of love in that bunker where he's in this room for all this time and having these tests ran on him.
Which they play into that in the last episode too.
They do, yep. And it's going into him getting older. Like he's getting gray hairs and he's noticing it, and it's like throwing him off. You get a lot of these shots of close up on him where he's like kind of shaking and freaking out a little bit inside. And I like showing why he's becoming more unhinged.
And I feel like that episode is terrifying because I feel like that was him letting go. Like, okay, you know what? Screw this. I'm done being their puppets. I'm going to do what I want to do. It's like the overarching just growth in a sense of him. It makes it even scarier because that was like him letting go. Like, screw you guys. This is my final goodbye to you guys. Like, I'm not going to be a puppet. Kind of like what he's been telling Ryan. So like he's getting there, man.
Yeah, I almost feel like what he's telling Ryan, he's like trying to convince himself of to or something. I don't know. There's something going on with that.
It's weird because he's almost like, this is going to sound weird because he's not a good father, but the last couple episodes he's almost like kind of been a better father by like listening to Ryan more, but like he's still steering him obviously in a murderous direction. You know what I mean?
Slightly better than being mean to him and like putting him down, but
that's what
still
I mean.
not
He's
great.
not just trolling him, but he kind of is still in the sense. Oh god, that sounded dirty just coming out of my mouth. But yeah, episode 4, great. And then my second favorite, I guess our second favorite episode, episode 5. My god, the acting, Simon Pegg, great.
Yep.
Like, the acting, that episode, for a character that's hardly been in the show, like, that episode actually made me feel something, and I'm sure it did for you, too.
That was probably, like, the whole episode is great, but that is what resonated with me the most, because my dad passed away 3 years ago, so it, like, seeing that goodbye, and, that really hit me pretty hard, so those were, like you said, the acting in those scenes were so good.
God, and just, like, him, like, Simon Pegg kind of, so they in this episode, the mom, or Huey's mom, is there, and she gives him the V.
The compound V, yeah.
The compound V dose, because he was going to, but he decided not to. But she did it, and so he woke up feeling fine. He's been in the hospital, was super sick. He was probably going to die.
Yeah, he had a stroke and was in a coma.
Yeah. And then her mom gives it to him, and then he starts to seem normal at first, and then just he randomly forgets things, and then he figures out his powers, and he's like, just murdering people, and you could see the fear in his eyes when he like kind of snaps out of it. It's such good acting.
Yeah, so he basically gets like Kitty from X-Men, her powers.
Yes, yep.
And I've always wondered, like, what would happen if she just became physical in something or someone? And this episode showed that, because that happens a lot.
Yeah. They showed that one dude, right? He's like, oh, just go on a date with me afterward. Like, it's a little small scene. And then he, like, transports in the middle of him and just, like, inside him and just annihilates him. But yeah, the biggest thing is just I think honestly the performances heightened it, because this could have just been another death, another, I don't want to say pointless, but it could have been like just like a side story that we ended up not caring about.
And an interesting thing about this episode is I feel like both of because there's like two main story beats in this. There's that part with Huey and his dad, and then there's the other part with Stan Edgar and going to the farmhouse and like learning about the virus and the connection to Gen V, and that all is done really well as well. Like, it has two really good storylines. Some of the earlier episodes had some other storylines that I didn't care as much about, like some of the Frenchie stuff, some of the Kimiko stuff.
Oh, we'll get to Frenchie, so we'll get to him.
Okay, yeah. But this one nailed both storylines for sure.
Both storylines were interesting. You had like a more personal one that doesn't necessarily move the plot, but it kind of moves the plot in the sense of Huey, like him just as a person.
For sure.
Then you're right, with the farm stuff, that was interesting. But this is off topic, kind of, but like I love the song. They used E-I-E-I-O at the end of the episode. I was cracking up.
I don't know if I noticed that. I'm going to go back and see
you need to go back, and literally the credits are like, oh, McDonald, like, the kid song, Old MacDonald had a farm. And I was cracking up like, oh, that's
probably the only part of The Boys, if it's in the credits, that you could show your kids and be okay. They'll just be dancing to the song. That's funny.
But yeah, I agree. The farm stuff was super interesting. When I saw that little beat-up chicken, I was cracking up.
Yeah.
The way Mother Milk, or MM, they call it, the way he said it was like, is that a chicken? Beat-up chicken? I was like dying.
Yeah, that was funny. And we got Stan Edgar back. I love the actor who plays Stan Edgar, so that's always a treat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is we kind of had like a lot of characters kind of working together. So it's like an interesting dynamic.
Having Stan Edgar, Newman, and then all the boys working together is so interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was excellent. And then, of course, the reason they go to that farm is that was Stan Edgar's old farm, right? They were using or Newman was using as a experimental.
They're trying to find Newman, so Stan thinks he's there, and then they find out that, it's been turned into a lab working on a virus.
Another thing I loved is they've really started connecting a Gen V to the show, too. Even a couple of the actors popped up, just for like a couple scenes, but like I was happy to see that.
I agree. Seeing them with the boys that's so cool when it connects like that. I love it.
It's like hearing, God, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now.
Which one?
God, what's his, the main guy, not Huey. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Butcher,
there you go. My lord, Butcher. Even just hearing him talk about, I went to VOT or whatever, and it's been cleared out. So like they're
the school, Godolphin.
Yeah, the school, Godolphin University, and it's been cleared out. So like they even kind of addressed that, like why not just go there?
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, episode 4 and 5 are definitely the standouts. So some of the issues I had, not like you said. So I think the first couple episodes they were good, but there were definitely like the Kamiko storyline. Literally don't care about that stuff. I'm gonna be real. I don't at all. And then also Frenchie, like this character just like turned into a different character. And it's not that he's gay. I don't even care about that. They even mentioned in one of the earlier seasons he's bi. So
I don't care about that at all. Yeah.
What I don't like is they pretty much disintegrated him and Kamiko's relationship that they've been building up for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
It's gone. There's no relationship between those two.
By episode 6, like she can't even, like he's in prison. She can't even get in to see him because he keeps like denying her. And it's like that's just totally gone.
Frenchie this season has been the worst.
Yeah, and Kamiko's been like trying to be supportive, trying to give him what he needs, and Frenchie's just like not having any of it.
And he's going off doing his own thing, and again, he's with his boyfriend, and he killed his family, so that's like a whole storyline.
He's back on drugs after he's been off of them for a while. And
it's like his character flipped a switch. I don't know, like I do not, and he was one of my favorite characters in the earlier seasons. And this season, I don't care for him at all.
I feel like there's been another character who they've changed a lot of how I view them in this season, which I was not expecting, and that's Starlight.
Yeah,
with Firecracker and the story about how she like was really mean to them and really mean to Firecracker in the pageant. I'm like, that doesn't sound like Starlight. I didn't think that's who she was. I mean, I guess she could have been younger and stupider, but still, I feel like we would have seen some of that before season 4.
Starlight's character, I agree. And also, I feel like she hasn't really done anything this season except for beat up Firecracker in that one scene. Other than that, she kind of been standing around. She hasn't done much.
Yeah, her powers aren't working, and I just realized I'm not totally sure why. What's the reason that her powers aren't working again?
Is she scared that she's gonna do public humiliation again, and like maybe because it started happening after she beat up Firecracker?
Yeah,
so maybe she's just like worried, like she's gonna get out of control with it. Is what I see from it.
Okay, yeah.
Is she scared that she can't control herself with it?
And it could also be a combination of that, and she tried to put Starlight behind her and just be Annie, and so that all of that. Yeah,
so
okay.
I think it's like a mental block type thing. I don't know. For a character who, especially last season, was one that's like, I'm gonna, even at the beginning of the season, like I'm gonna build my own. Not Starlight. I'm gonna be a figure for the people. That's not like she hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
she literally hasn't, right? Like,
yeah, I agree. She's just been the face of the Starlighters, kind of, but she's not even Starlight anymore.
No, and she doesn't really like, at least from what we've seen, she doesn't really like speak to the people, and like, I don't know, she doesn't seem very involved, at least from what we've seen, maybe, behind the scenes and stuff, but I agree. I think Frenchie and Starlight are the two characters, because like Kamiko is fine. Like, I don't care about her side story at all, but like her as a character, totally fine.
Yeah, I still like her character for sure. Yeah.
And MM, I like him. The actor lost a ton of weight.
I know. I was like, is that a different actor? But his voice, I was like, no, that's definitely still him.
I literally had, when I first saw him, I'm like, wait, who's this guy? And then they said, and I'm like, wait a second. I mean, good for that dude.
Yeah.
But I still like his character. Like, I like his struggles between being a leader and and
like having
doing
to make
the
the
right
tough
thing.
decisions.
Yeah. So, and they play into that with Butcher and him.
Yeah, because Butcher's kind of a psychopath and will make the hard decisions even if nobody wants him to, but it's a lot more of a struggle for MM.
Yeah, and they show him later in the season kind of trying to, cope with it and meditate and all that stuff. So like I like his character's been great. Honestly, all the characters have been great except for Frenchie and Starlight.
Yeah, even the new characters, like you said, I really like Sister Sage. I feel like having someone that's that smart and can stand up to Homelander is great. It gives them a really a different kind of villain to fight against. You have to outsmart the smartest person on the planet. That's going to be tough.
Yes. I will say, don't you? They better not. They better not do like a Captain Marvel, and she's the one who defeats Homelander, because that is too easy of a cop out.
Yeah,
and I don't think they are.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But I was worried about that at the beginning. Like, I like her character, especially they kind of show her, which I could not watch a scene where she's telling the Deep to poke her eye. Brain or whatever.
Yeah, that was rough to watch.
That was one of the like I'm normally not like cringy, but like that scene, ooh,
squeamish.
Ugh.
Yeah,
squeamish. There you go. Yeah, but like I like how they show her character is a little deeper than you think. Like she wants to be dumb. She wants to just have Taco Bell and not be the smartest person in the room. It's like they've even made her character well-rounded and not one-dimensional.
Yeah, which I mean that could definitely be a one-dimensional character, but yeah, adding that
easily.
That was a cool.
And she still gets outsmarted. Like, even in there's a scene with, what was it? Where she asked why so-and-so was there at the party. It was in the last episode. And,
Ashley. If she has all the information, I feel like she can use it to, like, make the right decision. But if she doesn't have the information, like, how would you know? Like, she can still be surprised by stuff if she doesn't have enough information.
Which I like that. You're right, because she could have easily been that character where, like, she's just the perfect character. She's always gets outsmarted, like, or not outsmarted, sorry. She always outsmarts everybody, and nothing goes wrong for her, but they still make her lose sometimes. They still make her want to be normal. So I think she's good. I was worried about her character, but no, I like her character. And same with Firecracker.
Yeah, I was going to mention Firecracker next. I think she's also an interesting character. She's a really good depiction of like a figurehead of a pretty fringe, extreme group. And I think they do that really well in this season. And they've done stuff like that before, like in season 2, where they showed like the person getting radicalized and going on a shooting spree. And I love all that stuff of like kind of connecting it to the real world. And
yes, yeah. And she does do a good job with it, and she's kind of smart in her own ways, because she might not be smart like Sage, but like we saw in the last episode, she knows how to please people
and rile people up.
So like she's smart in her own way, and I don't necessarily think she's necessarily like a villain. Like I think, she has her extreme views, but I feel like I don't know. She's not like I don't know.
She's not like a take over the world type of villain. She's like she's out for herself, wanting to get famous and be loved by all. Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like she's insecure and she'll do whatever to make herself feel better. So like I almost see her character as kind of like tragic in a way, because like you could see like even her in the last episode like devoting that much time to Homelander by being able to breastfeed him. Yeah,
and you know what I think is funny is I think she mentions like transgender people a few times in her like podcast episodes or whatever, and then she goes and takes hormones so that she can change her body so that she can be closer to Homelander.
Hey,
it's just like
it's okay
hypocrisy.
When you need it, man.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I know she mentioned it can enlarge her heart, so I'm wondering, is that like
that felt like such a throwaway line to me, but you're right, that could be something.
It did. It's like, I could breastfeed, but it enlarges my heart a little bit. Like, is that a hint what's gonna happen to her down the road?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but that could be.
Maybe something like Starlight goes off on her again and she like dies of an enlarged heart or something, and Starlight's like, oh my god. I don't know, just something like that. I don't know.
That's definitely possible.
But yeah, no, her character's good. I think both the new characters are great. And of course with Firecracker, they have to make her all like, seem all attractive so she could convince people, and that's definitely like part of her character.
Yeah, for sure.
They're putting her in like freaking booty shorts and wilding people up. Because she could have been one-dimensional too, like you mentioned, kind of just like there for the looks and just for the the wild, like, or what's the word I'm looking for, getting people all wild
riling. Yeah, riling them up.
Riling.
Motivating her audience. There's one person we haven't talked that much about, and I think it would be a good place to talk about the end of episode 6, Butcher. How do you feel about Butcher's journey in this season so far?
I like it. I think this season is kind of what summarizes Butcher. He's a good person, but like you said, he'll go over the line and he'll convince himself, as we saw in the last episode, to just do it.
Yep.
I think while he's a great person, I think he's unhinged and he'll do what he's going to do whether he wants to or not.
Yeah, I agree. It's been interesting because you got like 2 things going on for most of it, and now 3. You have, he took the Temp V and it's killing him. He has like a tumor in his head. And also, Ryan's with Homelander, so he's trying desperately to get him away from Homelander before he dies. Which I think is a really good motivation for like how he's acting. And then he reunites with Joe Kessler from his war days. He kind of helps him out in trying to get Ryan back with some of the schemes, and he's a little bit more brutal than Butcher is, like, which is saying a lot. This guy's like, I will absolutely do what needs to be done.
Hey, it's like, you're going soft, Butcher.
Yep.
Butcher going soft? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, in episode 6, like you say, I loved the reveal that person is actually dead and he's just a figment of Butcher's imagination. That? I didn't see that coming because we saw Becca, right? So we know he's hallucinating. So I feel like I should have, but I did not see it coming. And I thought it was a really cool reveal.
It sucks because I had thought nothing of it, but for some reason I had watched a review of the episode 5 and I was reading the comments and there was someone in the comments that said, so he's his imagination, right? And ever since I read that, I'm like, I was thinking about it. Well, like before I read that comment, I was like you. I did not think a single thing about that. I would have easily been tricked too.
Yeah.
But that freaking comment ruined it for me. So don't read comments.
Yeah. I try to stay away from that if I haven't seen the episode. Yeah.
And this was for like episode 5, so even before episode 6 came out. Like really they were just speculating, like, you know, just some comment, like, so he's in his head, right, guys? I'm like, wait, what? Like, and then I was thinking about all the scenes they kind of showed in this next episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, maybe he is, because he's never talked to him or with anybody else. So I got it ruined just because...
Dang, like, that sucks.
It got planted in my head that could be a possibility, so I was thinking about it.
I love the actor who plays that guy.
Oh, Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Oh, I love him too.
Yep. It felt like a supernatural episode at some points.
Bring back Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
What happened to Soldier Boy? I don't remember. Do you remember?
He explodes, right? He like tries to take out Homelander or something and he explodes. Yeah. So it's assumed he's dead, but I mean, he's super strong and he probably could come back.
Bring back Soldier Boy. I love Soldier Boy, man.
Yeah, I love Soldier Boy too.
And speaking of Supernatural, I actually read the actor for Sam is going to be in the next season.
Oh, yeah, I think I did read that too.
He wanted like a role, so they're going to write a role for him. Like, oh my God, you have Robert Singer, you know, Bobby.
Yep, Bobby.
You have Jeffrey Dean Morgan, or maybe possibly.
The dad.
And then you have Dean with Soldier Boy, and you can have Sam. Oh, you got to get them in a scene together, man. I don't care how you do it.
I don't know how they would get Jeffrey Dean Morgan in a scene with them if he's only in Butcher's imagination now, because it was said that the character died.
Maybe Butcher is just in the scene with them and you could see him because
and
Butcher's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just saying some stupid stuff, but I don't know, man, but you got to do it. That would make...
Yeah, that would be funny.
Make a 10 out of 10 episode.
No matter what else happened in that episode, it'd be 10 out of 10 for you?
10 out of 10, just to see all of them in the same room again.
That's funny.
In a show. So overall, though, I know we're only up, I think we saw, 2 or 3 more episodes?
Yep, 8. There's 2 more.
So how do you feel? So we kind of said the positives and we kind of said the negatives with Frenchie and stuff. So the one other, and this is me just like as an overall, not just this season. One negative I have is as much as I've enjoyed the season, it still feels like a setback from season 3. Like season 3 felt so grand, right? Like they're taking Compound V and they're superheroes. This is going to end. Like Homelander, like annihilated someone in public. Like he's going to start taking over and it's going to start being addicted. Like it felt like it was finally like, oh, it's happening. And then like this season, it kind of like steamed down a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. Season 3 was really good, especially even with like the Nazi lady stuff. That was season 3, right? Or was that season 2?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that was season 3 because it was Soldier Boy and all that, yeah.
Although if they do the like Homelander takeover this season, I feel like that might get back up to that level because that'll be absolute chaos.
Yeah, maybe that'll be like the finale, because I know they did say that season 5 is going to be the last season.
Yeah, that's true. So it could be them as a resistance against that takeover. Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. Don't go on too long.
I think most shows, 5 or 6 seasons is enough.
Yeah, don't be like Supernatural and just keep going.
Yeah, seriously. Although that got a little better back towards the end of the show. The middle seasons were a little rough, though. Did you ever finish that show?
No, I stopped at season 4 or 5 or something.
I mean, season 1 through 5 is the original arc. They only planned season 5, 5 seasons. Season 6 through 10 were but 10 through 15 were pretty good.
Jeez, there's 15. Oh my. There's more than I thought.
Dude, you gotta finish it though. I mean, you know Supernatural, so much lore and fan service and so. But anyways, we're getting sidetracked. But yeah, I think they end the season on. I don't know. They have to end the season on the next season has to be different. It can't be the same back and forth. Like season 5 needs to be like maybe Homelander is finally in control. Like screw you guys, I'm better than you guys.
Newman's gonna get Singer out. Homelander's gonna go off the deep end and take over everything, and then it's gonna be some kind of new dystopia,
Nazi type. And then there's gonna be all the humans
instead of the boys working for the CIA, now they're back to being the resistance again against this overarching power. Yeah,
I just feel like again, I really am enjoying the season, but I feel like having 3 seasons and let alone a final season next season of the same back and forth. Like we just need to kill Homelander, and it hasn't happened yet in the same plot.
Yeah,
they have to change it up the final season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But that being said, if you can set up these last couple episodes for that, this season I'll still have enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, for sure. So, it will be a success.
Like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised how much I'm enjoying the season. I mean, I was excited to watch it, but I don't know. I wouldn't even say it was burnout, but like I said, desensitized. And I feel like it's been the same. We need to kill Homelander. We need to kill Homelander. Like the overall,
I will say some of the stuff in episode 6, I was like, when they were doing the torture of Huey, I was like, okay, I'm kind of ready for this to be done. They went on for a while.
We've seen this stuff. You can only get so crazy. And I'm fine with the craziness, but like you said, we've seen that stuff before. So that's why I think it's good it's ending in season 5, and I do hope they change it up next season. I just don't know if we could have a whole let alone a final season where they're all okay, Homelander's gonna be here at this time, we're gonna go here, and Homelander's kind of on the brink of being unhinged, but he's not quite there yet. We can't have a whole nother season of that.
For the 5th time? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope it's not just the series finale, he finally goes crazy and that's it. It better be a whole season.
Yeah, I want that for sure. And it seems what they're building up to. That's what it does. That's what it seems like to me.
It does, and I know some people are. I've read some people are not complaining about Homelander, but kind of what I'm saying. It's kind of been going on too long, but they gotta realize this show, let's be real, without Homelander this show would be an average show.
Yeah, Homelander elevates the show for sure.
Homelander and Butcher, without those two, I think the show goes from a great show to just a good show. Homelander is the show.
He's the whole driving force behind the show.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Without Homelander, you would have all these other villains, but are they as compelling as Homelander? There's no. You don't get all those intense scenes and the unhinged chaos and
sense of there's nothing you can do.
Seriously. Homelander, that dude, every time he's on scene, I'm just I feel scared, and I'm just watching on a TV, God, what is he going to do? So good. Oh. But yeah, we'll review it weekly now since we're back on track, so it'll be a little easier to dig into a single episode.
I agree. Watching all these and I'm putting together my notes, I'm oh man, this is going to be a lot of work, and we had so many in the backlog.
Yeah.
Well, but we got through it. We'll be back on weekly.
Yes, it's a lot easier that way, so.